The autumn rain drummed against the windows of the Daily Grind, a modest coffee shop tucked between two glass towers in downtown Seattle. Marcus Chen wiped down the espresso machine for what felt like the 100th time that evening, her movements practiced and efficient. At 26, she'd worked every position in the service industry, but this job paid her tuition at community college, where she studied business administration at night. The door chimed. Marcus glanced up to see three men in expensive suits stride in, their laughter too loud for the quiet atmosphere. The one in front, tall, silver-haired, with a watch that probably cost more than her annual salary, surveyed the shop with barely concealed disdain. "This place will have to do, gentlemen," he announced. "My usual restaurant is inexplicably full." Marcus recognized him immediately. Richard Westbrook, founder of Westbrook Industries, a tech conglomerate worth billions. His face regularly appeared in business magazines, usually accompanied by articles about his ruthless negotiation tactics and controversial management style. The trio settled into a corner booth. Marcus approached with menus and her professional smile firmly in place. "Good evening. What can I get started for you?" Westbrook didn't look up from his phone. "3 black coffees. And make them actually hot this time. I assume you people know how to work the machines here." "You people?" Marcus felt the familiar sting, but kept her expression neutral. "Of course, sir. I'll have those right out." As she prepared their order, she overheard their conversation, talk of mergers, stock prices, a struggling company they were planning to acquire and dismantle for parts. The callousness in their voices when discussing the thousands of jobs that would be lost made her grip the coffee pot tighter. She delivered their drinks with steady hands. As she set down Westbrook's cup, he suddenly grabbed her wrist. "Wait," he said, a cruel smile playing at his lips. His companions leaned forward, sensing entertainment. "You look like someone who's lived hand to mouth. Tell me, what would you do if you suddenly had, say, $10,000? His friend snickered. Marcus realized this was a game to them, a way to mock her situation for their amusement. She could have walked away. Should have, probably. But something in his smug expression, the absolute certainty that she had nothing worthwhile to say, made her pause. 10,000. Marcus met his eyes steadily. "I'd put 3,000 in an emergency fund, high-yield savings account. Another 3,000 I'd invest in a low-cost index fund, probably S&P 500. 2,000 would go toward eliminating my highest interest debt. The remaining 2,000 I'd invest in myself, taking a specialized course that would increase my earning potential." The laughter died. Westbrook's smile faltered. "And with the extra income from that course," Marcus continued, her voice calm but firm, "I'd increase my monthly investments by whatever I could spare. Because wealth isn't built by windfalls, Mr. Westbrook. It's built by consistent habits, even with small amounts. Something tells me you knew that once, before you had people carrying your briefcase." The silence stretched. One of Westbrook's companions cleared his throat uncomfortably. "Well," Westbrook said slowly, releasing her wrist. "Aren't you clever?" But his tone had changed, the mockery replaced by something harder to read. Marcus returned to the counter, her heart pounding. She'd probably just talked herself out of a tip, maybe even her job if he complained to her manager. But the look on his face had been worth it. 20 minutes later, the trio left without another word. Marcus found a $5 bill on the table, the exact amount of their coffee. No tip. She wasn't surprised. What did surprise her was the business card underneath, with a handwritten note, "My office. Tuesday, 2 p.m. RW. Marcus almost didn't go. The invitation felt like a setup for further humiliation. But curiosity, and a stubborn refusal to be intimidated, got her to the gleaming Westbrook Industries tower that Tuesday. The executive floor was all marble and glass. A receptionist directed her to a corner office, with a view that stretched across the entire city. Westbrook sat behind a desk the size of her apartment's kitchen, typing rapidly on his laptop. "You came," he said without preamble. "I wasn't sure you would. You left me your card, Mr. Westbrook. I assumed you had something to say. Sit." He gestured to a leather chair. "That advice you gave me, the $10,000 breakdown. You didn't hesitate. You've thought about this before." "Every day," Marcus said simply. "When you live on $19,000 a year, you think about money constantly. You just don't get to do much about it." Westbrook leaned back, studying her. "I built my first company with $12,000 I'd saved working construction. That was 40 years ago. Somewhere along the way, I forgot what that desperation feels like, what it's like to have to be smart with every dollar because there's no safety net." He pulled out a folder, slid it across the desk. "I'm launching a new initiative. Microloans and financial literacy programs for service workers, single parents, people trying to claw their way up. I need someone to run it who actually understands the target demographic. Someone who won't condescend to them or waste their time with useless advice." Marcus opened the folder. The salary listed made her breath catch. "Why me? You don't know anything about me except that I make coffee and have opinions about index funds. I know you had the guts to speak honestly when most people would have just smiled and taken my nonsense. I know you understand money as survival, not just numbers on a screen. And I looked you up, your 2 semesters from your business degree, 3.8 GPA while working full-time." He paused. "I also know I was an arrogant ass in that coffee shop, and I'm trying to do better." "That's not an apology." "No," Westbrook agreed. "But it's an opportunity. And if you take it and prove me wrong about you, I'll accept that too. At least I'll have tried to put someone with real experience in charge, instead of another MBA who learned everything from textbooks." Marcus looked at the contract, then at the man who'd humiliated her 4 days ago. She thought about every condescending customer, every time someone had assumed she was lazy or uneducated because of where she worked. Every time she'd bitten her tongue. "I have conditions," she said. For the first time, Westbrook smiled genuinely. "I'd be disappointed if you didn't." 6 months later, the Westbrook Opportunity Fund had disbursed over $3 million in microloans and trained 5,000 people in financial basics. Marcus ran it with the intensity of someone who knew exactly how much was at stake. Because she'd lived it herself, she still stopped by the daily grind sometimes, now as a customer. The first time Westbrook joined her there, ordering his coffee with a "please" and "thank you," she saw her former co-workers' shocked expressions. "You know," Westbrook said as they sat in that same corner booth, "my board thought this program was a waste of money. Said people in poverty make bad financial decisions. And last quarter's data came in. Our loan recipients have a 94% repayment rate, higher than most conventional banks. Turns out when you actually teach people and give them a fair chance, they make excellent decisions." He took a sip of his coffee. You were right that night. I'd forgotten what it was like to be hungry and smart and desperate. I'd started seeing people as data points. Marcus stirred her latte. You're still an arrogant ass sometimes, Mr. Westbrook. Richard. And yes, probably. But I'm trying to be a useful arrogant ass now. He stood to leave, then paused. That first conversation, when I grabbed your wrist and mocked you, I think about it a lot. The person I was that night disgusted me once I really looked at myself. So thank you for the mirror, even if it wasn't pleasant. After he left, Marcus opened her laptop to review applications for the fund's expansion to Portland. Each application represented someone like her, someone working impossible hours, stretching every dollar, dreaming of something more. Someone who didn't need pity or condescension, just a real chance. She thought about that rainy night 6 months ago, when a billionaire had tried to humiliate her for sport. How his cruelty had accidentally created something good, because she'd refused to play along with her own diminishment. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother. Still can't believe my baby is running a whole program. So proud of you, sweetheart. Marcus smiled. The journey from barista to program director hadn't erased where she came from. It had simply proven what she'd always known, that poverty wasn't a lack of intelligence or ambition. It was a lack of opportunity, and now she was in a position to change that, one person at a time.